Boruto returns to Konoha Village after his explosive victory against Momoshiki Otsutsuki, but he's left with an ominous warning from the Celestial Invader. After last week's mind-blowing episode of Boruto, it's only natural that we would get a slower one, and that's exactly what we got in this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, which I honestly thought was a really good and heartfelt episode. It was very simple, just Boruto, Naruto, Sasuke, and the others returning to the village after their big victory. Boruto is still confused by what Momoshiki was telling him about the fact that his blue eyes will eventually be his undoing, and he now has a mysterious cursed sign on his palm. What does it all mean? It's completely confusing, but this entire episode right here is all about Boruto apologizing to his friends for cheating during the Chunin exam and trying to pick up the pieces after this massive confrontation. We also get to see that Boruto and Naruto's relationship has really become a lot more chummy. They're basically best friends again, and they have no problem with busting each other's chops. While Naruto is the father of Boruto, I still love that Boruto still manages to sort of jab at his father just a little bit. I'm glad that they're not just so completely enamored with each other now. That would be very unrealistic. The way that they handle these two characters interacting with one another after this traumatic event and with them finally coming together is surprisingly realistic, and I really love it. I especially love that Naruto's taking a more proactive role in trying to be with his family, not going to work as often, and even managing to get a brand new birthday cake for Boruto and Himawari. Being there for the celebration, being with the family. However, like I said, most of this episode is dedicated to Boruto talking to his friends and apologizing to them, in particular Shikadai. Another scene that I thought was handled very realistically. These two friends who are honestly mad at each other, but they're best friends. They're practically brothers with one another. Seeing these two characters actually try to reconcile their differences is surprisingly realistic, and it's handled with a lot of tact and maturity. It really shows how far Boruto has actually grown as a character, even with his big declaration at the very end of the episode saying that he does not want to be the Hokage. He's going to leave that to Sarada. However, he is going to be her right-hand man and will do everything to protect her. The scene is funny because, one, Boruto saying this is great because it's breaking the mold of his father, even though his grandfather and father are the Kage. It's not necessarily for him. He's going to carve out his very own destiny. This is the beginning of his very own story. But it's really funny because of the way that Sarada reacts to all of this. Not happy over the fact that she has no more Kage competition, but for the fact that it's very clear that she has feelings for Boruto, and it's only a matter of time before those actually come out in the open. I also like that even Mitsuki got a really cool scene in this episode where he got to talk to Big Daddy Orochimaru, which was great. We didn't get to see much of Orochimaru. He was in shadow the entire time, which makes sense. If Yamato found out that he actually ran away and was there to talk to his son, things probably wouldn't look good for the King of Pop. What I do love about it is that Mitsuki is still doubling down on the fact that he wants to stay in the village and he wants to learn a little bit more about Boruto. It's slightly ominous, but at the same time, I still believe that Mitsuki does have good intention with what he's actually trying to do. And that's basically the episode right there. It's a very simple one, but honestly, it was very therapeutic after watching last week's episode, which was just so incredibly high octane. What I will say is this episode does have a post-credit scene, which is absolutely amazing because it does officially confirm that, of course, Urashiki is still alive, he's still about, and he even seems to be planning something. Will he interfere in some of the upcoming storylines, or is he going to hang in the shadows and wait for his opportunity? It's implied that there are other members of the Otsutsuki clan. Could he bring them along to planet Earth? What exactly is his big deal in the first place? All I know is they introduced a wild card for the series, and as far as I'm concerned, Urashiki could end up being one of the biggest villains of the entire franchise. But trust me when I say that little by little, we're about to get the beginning of a brand new storyline, which is going to completely change everything that you know about the entire Naruto universe. So, what's the rundown on this episode right here? Like I said, sort of the perfect episode after a major arc comes to a close. It's pretty standard for these type of episodes in a show like this, and I can't fault it for it. The good thing is this episode was competently done. It wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, especially when compared to the previous one, but again, it wasn't supposed to be. This is sort of a wrap-up episode, and there's a ton of little elements in this one that I truly love. I do love, too, that, Sasuke is actually happy for once. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's still weird to see Sasuke interacting with his family, his wife, his daughter, and actually smiling for once. But it honestly feels good. It's the first time I'm like, Sasuke, you've earned this reprieve. Be with your family and be happy. It really shows me, too, how much these characters have changed since the beginning and how the actual characterization of the Naruto franchise is nothing to scoff at. It's actually surprisingly decent, especially with the character change of Boruto. I mean, look at the rambunctious little asshole that he was at the beginning of the show, and look at where he is now. He doesn't even want to be Hokage. He just wants to be a respectable and awesome ninja, just like Sasuke, so that he can protect his friends. That's pretty freaking mature right there, and very different than what we saw from the Naruto from the original series. But really, for me, my favorite thing about this episode is all the stuff with Urashiki at the end. It's a small scene, but it's really appreciated. I'm glad that they followed up on him, not just then, but even Sasuke mentioning that they weren't able to catch him. So I have no idea where he's going to be popping up in the series. He's a character who didn't exist in the movie and doesn't exist in the manga. He is an original creation for the anime right here, but still, he's one of my favorite characters from the franchise right now, and maybe one of my favorite villains from the entire series. And that's a huge accomplishment when you stack him up against some of the ones that came previous. Really, this is, in many ways, the beginning of the Boruto anime, which I know is kind of strange, but this truly is the beginning of his very own story, and you should definitely check it out if you are a fan of the Naruto universe. And that's it. That's my thoughts on this episode. So as far as the score for this episode right here, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I mean, it's not action heavy or anything, but again, it's not supposed to be. It was a post-arc episode, and it was handled really freaking well. It was heartwarming. There were great moments with Boruto displaying his maturity, and that Urashiki scene at the end just cherry on top of the sundae. 4 out of 5 from me. I'd love to get all of your thoughts on this episode. You can tell me all of them in the comment section below, and what you guys hope to see from the rest of the Boruto anime series. What did you think of the beginning of Boruto's story thus far? Were you satisfied by the conclusion of the Momoshiki arc? What do you hope to see from Urashiki in the future? Let's start a discussion in the comment section, guys. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.